Hi everyone, and welcome to Ruth Reacts to Books. I'm your host, Ruxie Ruth McGouth. This is Season 2, Episode 24, and I am reacting today to The Danish Way of Parenting by Jessica Joelle Alexander and Iben Sandahl. I gave this book 5 stars. I really liked it. So what I do in the show is I will read the back of the book. I'll tell you why I liked it, what I didn't like about it, and then I'll tell you a food that I've associated with it. I've given you a link to a blog with that food, and I'll tell you what nails I picked out for today and why I am linking them to this book. All right. Discover the parenting secrets of the happiest people in the world. What makes Denmark the happiest country in the world, and how do Danish parents raise happy, confident, successful kids year after year? This upbeat and practical guide reveals the habits of the happiest families on earth. With illuminating examples and simple yet powerful advice, the authors present 6 essential principles which spell out parent. P. Play is essential for development and well-being. A. Authenticity fosters trust and inner compass. R. Reframing helps kids cope with setbacks and look at the bright side. E. Empathy allows us to act with kindness towards others. N. No ultimatums means no power struggles, lines in the sand, or resentment. And T. Togetherness is a way to celebrate family time on special occasions and every day. The Danes call this hygge. It is a simple yet meaningful way to foster a close bond. A revealing and fresh take on cross-cultural parenting advice, the Danish way of parenting will help parents form all walks of life and raise the happiest, well-adjusted kids in the world. All right. So my kids are a little older. I wish I would have read this when they were all younger. So a lot of this is more about like a little bit younger kids. However, I can certainly apply some of the things in here to not only kids, but I think even to adult relationships. And I was even thinking about in the workplace. So a lot of these lessons could be transitioned into how you're dealing with your employees or the people that you're working with. So as I was thinking about it, I was kind of transitioning it into that way, but also I do still have some kids at home. And so thinking about ways that I could even utilize some of these skills with them. However, I loved this book. I think I had heard about this book and I happened to see it on my friend Teresa's bookshelf when I was over at her house. And I was like, can I borrow that book? Because I'd heard about it. And so I'm really grateful that she said I could borrow it. And it was a really quick and easy read. I loved that at the end of each sort of section that they talked about, they kind of have little helpful guides that you can, like, with step-by-step things that you can do about like this section. So before I give this book back to Teresa, I think what I'm going to do is take some of the sections that I found most meaningful and helpful and turn them into like little posters that I can put up for myself to remind me, because I think also this is the kind of book that it was really meaningful when I read it, but like it's too easy, I think, for it to kind of fall out of my head after I read it. So I want something that I can put up around my house or in my workplace to remind me of some of those skills that I read about, because seriously, I would recommend this book to everyone. Even if you don't have kids, as long as you're not a hermit living by yourself and you never interact with other people, I kind of think that this book is useful because it really does talk about some really, like, even the section on empathy is so cool, and it has like how to increase your empathy. Like the section on that was really cool. So, and I think we could all use some empathy right now. This is a harsh world. So I almost think, my husband, I told you like a while ago, he had me read the book by the concentration camp survivor because he wanted me to be more, I think, empathetic. But actually maybe this book was more helpful for me in that. I'm glad I read that other book too, but I think this book really helped me a lot in that area, just because it had some clear skills and helped and really talked about like how to improve that part of yourself. So I liked pretty much everything about this book. I liked that it was easy to read. It was simple. I kind of told you what my goals are coming out of this book. I didn't like that I don't live in Denmark. I feel like the US is kind of a hard place to live right now. It definitely hearing about the culture in Denmark, it made me feel like, gosh, I kind of wish I would have lived there, because it does sound like, and it's very different from here. And I'm sure that people who have lived in the US their whole life would probably not want to move maybe to Denmark, but I've not lived in the US my whole life. I came here from a different country. And so I do think that it would be somewhere that I would feel, especially right now when things are not good here. I'm feeling very stressed, and I feel like I do wish that maybe I lived in Denmark, where it feels like people are a lot nicer. I'm glad I live where I happen to live in the US right now, because people in this particular town are a lot nicer than some places for sure. And so I'm grateful for those people. So the food I give you a link to is Drømmekage, or Danish Drømmekage, from a blog on Nordic food. So take a look at that, and if you make it, leave a comment. Let us know what it was like. And for my nails this week, so I picked out like this swirly one was really the one I wanted to pick out. And so, but it only came in like a little tiny 4-pack that I got. And so I had to find something to go with it. So the little swirly one is called Glow with the Flow. And I kind of picked it out just because I've had it for a while. I got it in a subscription box, and it just kind of was kind of playful. And I felt like it aligned with the child inside me. And then I picked out this one to go with it, the thumb and the accent nail, just to match with that kind of blue line in the middle. So that one's called Luxe Decor. So those are the nails that I picked out for this week to match with the book, just to play up that inner child inside me. I've been kind of wanting to find some way to wear them for a while. So I hope you're all doing well. I highly recommend this book, especially right now while we're all stressed out. My favorite thing about the book was they talked about it on the back, that principle of hygge, which is like the togetherness that they really care about. They have this thing like at Christmas where the older children make sure that they spend the time with the younger children, even if normally they wouldn't want to, but at Christmas they will, because it's the time of hygge, and it's like so sweet. So if we could all have a little more hygge in our lives. I in fact added an entire book to my to-read list about hygge itself, because I want to learn more about that. So I'm sure you'll hear about that sometime in the future. I hope you all have a good week and stay strong out there. Love you. Bye.